Hi. All right, so not too long ago, you have created a melody and you extended it, adding a melody, the chords that you made up yourself, and the bass that you made up yourself, and then, of course, adding the drums using this. Now, we're going to extend the melody, and I'm going to show you very specifically what you need to do from the beginning to end to be able to extend that into an intro, a verse, and a chorus. We're not going to do a pre-chorus today. We're just going to go intro, verse, and chorus, and what that means. You have to follow the specific steps. So here it is. First, to make it easier and to show you a little bit now of how to make chords happen all automatically already with some parameters, we're going to break down the chords. So going to go to the chords. And now, if you don't have this already and you didn't turn this in or you're new, then you have this, Flutter Life. Look for Flutter Life already in the place where you can download things. All right, so anyway, or somebody else's, you have other options. You can click on the link. But so anyway, we're going to open up chords and check this out. I'm going to highlight over here, click, click, click. You have those three. Now you got to make sure that the person, if you downloaded somebody else's, it's correct. It should be 3 white notes on the piano. White, blank, white, blank, white. So they all must match this whenever you're checking a system. If you see some weird thing like this, then no, you don't want that. So you want to make sure that they're all in the white spaces and that everything's even and quantized. Okay, so if you don't want to deal with that, just go to Flutter Life or your own. You're supposed to use your own, but here it is. All right, I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, and this is 3 notes, and if you take a look at right here, it says C. I'm going to go ahead and point this right here, C, in parentheses. That means that this is in C. So what we're first going to do is you're going to go up to this area right here, and you're going to add chords. You're just going to click right here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go to Create Chord. And it's going to say C. Hopefully everybody else says C. It says C up here. There's C, and it's major. I'm going to push enter. Now the C is supposed to be over here. Now, if you have something that looks like where it looks like this, or it created that all the way, you need to make sure that you break up stuff. So for example, if I do chord and push plus here, there you go. It's a C. But sometimes what you see is where it's just this. If that happens, it's fine. You just got to make sure it's at right here, the 5th measure. So what I'm going to do is you don't have to mess with this. You have to right click, find this line here where it says measure 2. You're going to right click in that area and you're going to go to create chord. Now you got to figure out what chord you need to create. And that's only by looking at these chords. You're going to go to the 2nd measure, highlight these chords, and look over here. It says A lowercase m. A lowercase m means A minor. So you're going to go to this chord right here, and you're going to go to A, and then minor, A-M. Push enter, and there it is. A minor is your next chord. You're then going to check out your 3rd chord. So I'm going to make sure I double click on chords. Here it goes, chords. Go to your 3rd measure, highlight all 3. You have to highlight all 3. It's important in that measure. And I'm going to go to, it says F. So I'm going to go to the 3rd measure, right click, and I'm going to go to create chord. You saw the analyze key signature. That's not in most of ours. So anyway, create chord, and I'm going to go here. It says F. I can click on F here and push enter, so we'll see F. Or you can select F from here and then make sure it says major because it doesn't say the minor. So C, A minor, F. Let's double check. 1st measure is C. 2nd measure is A minor. 3rd measure is F. That means F major. And this chord is going to be E minor. So you're going to go over to the chords right here, and then you're going to add on the 4th measure. Now you don't have to put this here. You just right click here, and you're going to go to create chord. You can type in E lowercase m, and it will turn into E minor, or you can select it from here on the root note and the minor thing right here. So now you have C, A minor, F, E minor. That's you labeling. It's very important you do that. So after you do that, you're going to go over to arrangement and push plus 3 times. 1, 2, 3. When that happens, after you push plus, you have an intro, a verse, and a chorus in Logic Pro on the arrangement. You are then going to loop this chord progression that you have under chords. You're going to loop it all. So this is not loop. Look at that. it has that little line across. You have to move up a little bit where it has that loopy symbol on the chords. And you're going to loop this all the way to the end of the chorus. Done. When I click over here, I don't want to mess with the tempo. I'm going to unselect marker. Sorry, I'm going to unselect tempo. And that's doing it in the global tracks. This is your global tracks. And your key signature, you don't need that. It's in C major. We're just unselect signature, so you're only looking at arrangement and chords. And so when you have that, you have the intro, verse, and chorus. You have the chord progression repeated, and you need that especially for what's about to happen. Next, under chords and bass, and you're going to take these things under the chords, the bass, and the beats that you have here, and you're going to loop them all the way to the end. To plus one measure, which will be at measure 26. Just loop them to the end and measure 26. So the chords bass, I'm going to choose not to, don't choose the drums to go there, but the chords and the bass, you're going to go to one more measure past the intro, verse, and chorus. Just one measure. Now, your melody, you are not going to loop. You're going to create a brand new melody. So, here it goes. And it's only going to be 8 measures. You're going to go only record the verse. Do not record something else. There's a very specific reason why you're doing this, right? So here it goes. Now, before I record that melody, I'm going to duplicate this melody 2 times. Command D would duplicate the melody track by selecting it and duplicating it. So now that we duplicated it, there's a reason why we're doing this, and we'll talk about it later. But this right here is your main melody. So here it is. I'm going to put my marker here. And I'm going to get ready to record. Now, most of your pianos are hooked up in Logic Pro. You can press the piano. You're going to select this, and I'm going to arm the track. That means push this R button on the track that we have here. This is the channel strip. This is basically your channel strip. So, you're going to go ahead and arm the track, and you're going to record a brand new track. If you need to bring up your piano to do that, I would go to my window and I push Command K. Or view. Was it Command K from here, right? It's opening your keyboard, musical typing keyboard. Or you can just go ahead and play your piano. Push Command K. There it is. I'm going to make sure it's at the right octave. The right octave you want is going to be kind of in the middle here. Octaves. See where it says C2? You don't want it C2. You want the next octave up. So I'm going to push plus C3. You want C3. Okay, so make sure this says C3 on your musical typing melody. And then you're going to do not mess with the black keys, only white keys. You're going to push record right here, or push R. It's going to record, and you're going to come in. I like to have this counting right here, this 1, 2, 3, 4. This count in, so make sure it's selected. Count in, push Shift K if you want to. But I'm going to push this right here, record, or I push R. And I count in to type anything in that I want to. 1, 2, ready, and. Just pressing on anything. Stop. Stop at measure 17. Now you're going to take a look at that melody. Let me get rid of this typing keyboard. You're going to take a look at that melody in the edit. Push E or go ahead and go down here. And the rule is you have a new melody, right? We got to make sure that you stopped it right here. If it has any hangover whatsoever at all on this melody, like it looks like this, you got to take it. I would trim it, push Command T, and just delete this. You don't need it. You need it specifically at this. I'm going to take a look at this melody that I have here, and I'm going to make sure there's no overlapping. I have overlapping here. I'm going to choose something. I'm going to delete something. I'm going to delete this. I don't know. So there should be no pitches at all right here overlapping on the melody. I'm going to push Command A, and I'm going to go to my 8th note quantize. And you see that fixed the notes. Now let's take a listen to it. Listen for 2 notes. You got to eliminate 2 notes. And if you don't like something, you're like, nah, I think I'll just choose a different note here. Make sure you choose white notes, okay, on the keyboard. Okay. Anyway, so you can choose whatever you want or just keep it or redo it. Then you're going to redo what I just did there on the chorus. It's very important that you do not record the chorus so you have a broken area because you're going to do something special to the chorus. So let's go ahead and do the same thing again. Get my musical Command K up, and I'm going to make sure I highlight this melody, and I'm going to push R to record. It's going to count me in because I had the up there. You see that? I'm pushing Shift K to bring that out. I'm going to push R to record or push the record button. I like to push R. So I'm ready to play. 1, 2, ready, and. Just complete it. All right, I'm going to stop it there. So this is what I have, making sure we're still in octave C3 when we're doing it. I'm going to double click, make sure that I do not have, and I'm going to listen back to make sure I don't have anything hanging over any other note. You can't do that. Your melody is just one thing being played. There's no harmony in melody. So I'm going to go ahead and quantize it. Boom, it quantized it. And I'm double checking and see if I like a note. I like it. I don't know if I like that. I think I like better. Anyway, so you can keep it whatever you have as long as you're not overlapping notes. This note, I'm going to delete. Because you could add one more note there. If it's going to be, I would recommend a C because we're on C major. So you could do that. But remember, we went one more measure for this. You went one more measure for the rest of your arrangement. And that's why. You don't want to just have and just be ending. You want to just have the last chord. And be done with it. You can add one more C at the end on measure 25 if you want to. You could draw it in if you want to. Because it'll feel like it's ended. I'm going to do that. Let me get my pencil tool out. Draw that last C. I know that's a C because I have a C3 there. Here it goes. Let me move that back and make it longer. There we go. So I'm right as C the entire rest of the, no more melody, just, okay. So that is it. Now, in order for us to do this thing right here, I'm going to hold down Option, and I'm going to bring this melody down here to the second melody. And I'm going to do it one more time, bring the melody down to the third melody. Now, here is what I'm going to do. I have two options. This is what happens when you thicken up melody. First of all, let's go and get rid of this edit window by pushing E. Let's make this a little bigger. You're going to see panning. I'm going to bring this one to the right. I'm going to bring this one to the left, just to differentiate so it has thickness to it. And now after that, I'm going to make two options on the melody. The second melody that I have down here, after I copied them down by holding Option, click and drag, or you can copy and paste if you have it right, I'm going to change either the instrument or the pitch up an octave or down an octave. So what I'm going to do here is melody, instrument, change. I'm going to name this melody instrument change. And I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to choose a different instrument. And I'm going to go into my library. To go into my library, you press Y, and I'm going to choose a different MIDI. I'm going to stick with maybe lead. Maybe go to, I don't know, it could be anything, right? Maybe I'll go to mallets and go to ethereal mallets. Let's see what that sounds like together. I'm going to solo it and listen to it. So I added that, and it doubles this, so I can listen to the melody and the melody instrument change. This is without. This is alone. So it sounds different, right? And then it has a different kind of feeling to it. I'm going to bring, yeah, there we go. Maybe just a little bit louder, maybe. There we go. Love it. It has this reverb feel to it. Now, this other melody right here, you could either change the instrument and the pitch, or just the instrument. to make it wider. I recommend on this last one, instrument, I'm going to change pitch change. I'm going to mark this down. You don't have to, you can name it anything you want really, but I want to see it on your screenshot so I know what you changed. I'm going to do pitch change, and I'm going to go ahead and select this in my edit window. And I'm going to, oops, let me get rid of that to make sure pointer. I'm going to push Command A to select all of this melody in this one, and I'm going to bring it up an octave. You see it where it says C3 to C4, that's kind of what I played here. I'm going to bring this instrument down so it says C2 to C4. C2 to C4. So I brought everything down an octave. So now if I listen to it, you see it has that kind of like that feeling to it. And I'm going to go ahead and bring down the volume just a little bit because it is. Now watch what happens. It has that thickness to it. Now I have three things. So that's how you make your melody thicker. You bring into doubling it with another instrument or changing the pitch up an octave or down an octave. I'm not only going to, for me, I'm not only going to change the melody of this, I'm also going to change what is being played there. And I'm going to go ahead and do, I'm going to do a lead something under synthesizer. And I'm just going, maybe strings, dusty strings. I don't know what that means, but let's see what it has. No. See what it has here. That's pretty interesting. I don't want to have it to have percussion on it. So right now I'm just playing with different things. That's what that sounds like. Awesome. Cool. Now that you're done with that, you've done the three melodies, the last thing you're going to do is this. And this is one of the cool things of why you did the chord progression. And you did that because what you're doing is, you guys are coming in. What you're doing is you're going to go ahead and add a track here. You're going to push plus, and you're going to go to Session Player, Keyboard Player. And you're going to go to your details, and you can mess around with these details if you want, broken chords, whatever you feel like down here. Simple pads, whatever you want. You just play it, and I'm going to push create. And look what it did here. Now you can mess around with each of these factors down here while you're doing it. I'm just going to keep it. That means that you are done. You're going to take a screenshot of this right here and make sure that I can see that you did the correct chords. And so I'm going to bring this in here to end it. Give a little bit of space. Do this. I need to see in your screenshot. I would clear any of this stuff so you don't have to see it. On your screenshot, you need to have the arrangement correct with the intro, verse, and chorus. You need to have the chord progression correctly labeled. You need to have this right here, this yellow track, which is a session player added, and that's the very last thing you add. You need to have a melody labeled here. You need to have two other melodies stacked on. So you have a melody in your verse that you created, you have a melody in your chorus that you created, and then you have a melody instrument change, and then you have a melody pitch change down there too. I want one instrument change, one pitch change. You could do both if you want. You can let me know if they change both. I changed both. So pitch, I'm going to do instrument because I did both. You got to have one at least of each. And then you made everything on the chords, bass, and drums. You just looped it all the way to the end. And then with the chords and bass at least, you added on to measure 25. You added one just final loop and stopped it there along with the melody instrument change. You guys are awesome. You got this. It's going to be awesome. Sound awesome. Good luck. Follow step by step. Oh, and don't forget to take a screenshot and bounce it down. Let me do that right now for actually. There it goes. Command Shift 3. Oh, down here? There it goes. Okay, cool. Make sure you press this to make sure you get the entire thing too. And then bounce it down. And you got it.